Hello everyone, my name is Maxine. Welcome to my yoga YouTube channel, or welcome back to. Thank you for joining me. So let's begin. Usually I like to end with a moment of gratitude. Also make sure to have some water handy just to keep yourself hydrated. And so usually, like I said, I always like to end with a moment of gratitude, but instead and also would like to begin with a moment of gratitude. So standing nice and tall, let's find a nice strong tall posture with our arms down by our sides. Taking a nice deep inhale, raising the arms up to the sky, filling up the lungs, feeling the ribcage expand, and then exhale into prayer in front of the heart center. Taking some nice deep conscious breaths, and that moment of gratitude that I've just mentioned, giving yourself a little thank you just for turning up and arriving here on the mat today. And if you don't have a mat, don't worry about that either. Just a carpet or a rug is quite sufficient. Rather than a hard surface, you do need a little bit of cushioning for the knees and the spine and the sit bones, so it's nice to have maybe a carpet or a mat at least. And then so taking some nice conscious breaths, just arriving here and now, just giving yourself that thank you for just being here. In and out through the nose. Maybe if you want to release any stress and tension, you could sigh it out on the exhale. And then tuning into a natural rhythm, in and out through the nose, standing nice and tall, just arriving in the here and now, in the present moment. And let's take our arms down by our sides and soften the knees and take the shoulders back, and inhale as we open the heart to the sky. And exhale, let's round the spine down, maybe straightening out the legs, lower the chin to the chest. So like a standing cat-cow. Inhale, open the heart, softening the knees. Exhale, round it down. Inhale, opening the heart. And exhale, rounding it down. Inhale, last time opening the heart. And back to the center. Raising the arms above the head. Nice deep breath and just stretch it up. Lengthening through the side body. And sit it down into a chair pose. So just holding it here for several breaths. You could have the feet together, a hip width apart. Forgot to mention that at the beginning. And then maybe lower it a little further down on an exhale. Slow down as you can take it and just hold it again for several breaths. And then let's just let the arms fall and lower the chest closer to the knees. And then begin to lift up the hips. Allow the head to fall, taking it into ragdoll. So we still want the knees bent, because the idea of the chair, we were bringing the hips in, so we're hinging from the hips, chest towards the thighs, lifting it up, but still keeping the knees bent. And then just allow the arms to fall to the ground, relaxing the head, neck and shoulders. Nice deep breaths, maybe sigh it out just to release any stress and tension you may be holding on to. And then maybe a little sway from side to side. Just letting the arms fall. Don't worry if you are here, but make sure your knees are bent. Just allowing the body to fall and relax. And each time, after several breaths, you may feel you can come just that little bit closer. And then if you grab the elbows, I feel as if that pulls the weight of the body down a little further. Open opening up the hips nicely, allowing your arms to become closer to the ground, so that when we want to come down, our hands are, the ground's more accessible, because we have now allowed the warm up of the hips to bring us further to the ground, to reach the ground. And if you aren't reaching the ground, you may have a piece of furniture in front of you, maybe the chair or something, that you can help you down. So hands down onto the ground or onto that piece of furniture, and just stepping it back a little step at a time into a tabletop. Coming straight down onto the knees today. So just stepping back and lowering the knees. And let's begin with some cat-cows here. Inhale, chin up, tailbone up. Rock it about, stay static. Exhale, curl it under. Again, move it around, maybe move the hips or move the shoulders. Just whatever feels good for you. Exhale as we push the ground away and around the spine. Maybe a little rock back and forth, or side to side. And then let us take our fingertips pointing out to the sides and take a little rock from side to side, following the breath. You could look one way, then the opposite way. And then back to centre, turning the fingertips pointing in over towards each other. And also in a tabletop, making sure that the hands are planted underneath the shoulders and the knees are underneath the hips. It gives you much more stability. And again here, let's just take a gentle rock from side to side, nicely warming up the wrists. Breathing all the way. And then turning the hands the opposite way, so either back to the side, or if possible turning your fingertips as far around to point towards your knees as possible, but don't worry if you don't reach all of the way around. And then a little rock back and forth. Maybe take it in a little cat-cow poses as we do so. And then from here, turning the hand, bringing the backs of the hands down, and see if you can straighten out the arms here as we do so. Gives them better or deeper bend in the wrist, but if the elbow's out, that's perfectly fine, just to whatever degree you can, whatever suits you. Maybe just a gentle rock back and forth, deep breaths, and then release it back to the front. Place the palm right as it was in the beginning, and then lift the other, turn it and press the back of the hand down. If it's here, just a little rock, or if you can, turn the elbow so the inside is turning forwards, straightening out the arm. A gentle, very gentle rock back and forth. And then maybe bringing the knees in here to take the weight off of the hands. If you can take both hands, the backs of the hands down, Or maybe just alternate, take a break in between, maybe just circle the hands, give the wrists a little massage. And then if possible, you could maybe walk the knees back if you feel you can take the weight on the backs of the hands. It's really quite intense. And then lift up the hands, otherwise bring the knees in and then lift the hands up. And let's circle the hands and massage the wrists in one direction and then the opposite direction, following the breath all the way. And then let's interlock the hands and just worm the arms, just giving the wrists a little further massage in one direction and then the opposite way. You can close your eyes or just watch the movement of the hands and the arms. And then let's push the arms, straighten the palms up to the sky. Really lengthen, stretching up the sides, and then exhale over to one side. Maybe let the hips drop and push through, reach over. Several breaths here. Just feel a nice stretch down the side. And then inhale back to center. Reach it up. And let the hips fall over. Exhale over to the opposite side, reaching over, feeling that lovely stretch down the top side. And then back to center. Nice deep breath in, release the arms down by your side, and then bring them up as we inhale, back and round. Exhale, round it down. Inhale up and round as we exhale. Inhale up and round as we exhale, and stop here halfway. Bring the palms facing each other, cross one arm and across in front of the other, turn the palms back to face each other, interlock the fingers, and then we'll take a nice deep breath in, and then bend the elbows, bring the fists through, and fold as we exhale down. Inhale back up to the sky, reaching up and around, and fold it down on the exhale. Inhale back up to the sky. And exhale, round and fold it down. Inhale, take it halfway. Release the hands and cross them over the opposite way. Inhale at the center. Exhale, bring it through and fold it in. Inhale up to the sky. Lengthen it up. Exhale, round it down. Inhale up to the sky. And exhale, round it down. Inhale halfway. Release the hands. Maybe give the wrist another little massage. Take fists maybe. Circle in one direction, then the other. And just bring it down. Let's bring it forward into a tabletop once again. Now we've massaged the wrists off. Just warm them up nicely for the next little sequence. So first of all, let us take our right leg out straight in line with the body. So checking that you've got the hands directly underneath the shoulders, the knees are underneath the hips, and always when we have the palms planted on the ground, the fingers are spread wide, and it gives us much more support, strength and balance. So hips are squared to the ground, holding that right leg nice and straight and strong. Tensing right through from the bum, cheek, thigh, calf, point the toes and flex the foot, point, and let's circle the foot around in one direction, and then the opposite way, and back again. Try not to let the leg fall. And then let us take an inhale as we lift up the leg and lift up the chin, and exhale. So push the ground, we let the toe fall to the ground. Inhale up and exhale down. Push the ground around the spine. Inhale up and exhale down. And then we're going to take this foot over to the opposite side behind. So inhale to there, exhale back here, inhale to the side, 3 o'clock, and exhale the toe in alignment with the hand. If you can reach there, don't worry if you can't. And then back to the side and to the back. Bring the knee back in. Maybe sit down if you need to massage the wrists off a little further. Nice deep breaths as you do so. Maybe roll the arms in one direction, then the other. And over the head. Inhale, reach, 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 and stretch it over. Inhale back to center. Reach, 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 and to the opposite side. Inhale back to center. And sweep the arms down and bring it back into our tabletop. Checking once again, the hands are underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and lifting straight the left leg this time, activated right through, tensing through the bum, cheek, thigh, calf, point the foot, flex the foot, pushing into the heel, following the breath, point the foot, and circle the foot around in one direction, then the other. Don't let the leg fall. And back again. Nice and controlled movements. Well done. And then let us take some cat-cows on the one knee. Inhale, chin up, lift up the leg. Exhale, push the ground away, let the toes fall to the ground as we round it down. Inhale up, exhale round, inhale up, and last time exhale to the ground, inhale the toe over to the opposite side, exhale back to 6 o'clock, inhale to 9 o'clock, and exhale as high as you can bring it out to the side in alignment with the hands, and then inhale back to 9, exhale back to 6, and bring it in, sitting down to the bum, to the heels, and let's stretch out the arms in front, resting the forehead, have active arms at the moment, pressing the arms through, pressing the fingertips into the mat, just to feel the stretch in the wrists. Maybe a little gentle rock from side to side. And then let's bring it up into sitting. So let's give the wrists a little further massage and strengthening exercises. If you just flick out the fingers. And then rotate the hands in one direction, then the other. Closing the eyes as you do so. And then, so that was a lovely lot of little exercises there to strengthen up our wrists for the future when you want to hold a down dog or any other poses on off the hands. And then let us interlock the fingers, and we're going to lean forward and place the forearms down now in a triangular shape, and the elbows are underneath the shoulders and the knees are underneath the hips. And then from here, take an inhale. So also here we're strengthening up now the shoulders. So inhale and exhale the chin over the fists. And then inhale, bring it back. Exhale, chin over the fists. Now you can intensify that by coming up onto the toes, lift it up and sink it back. So it's the dolphin pose, aligning the arms with the back. Inhale, exhale, chin over the fists. Inhale back, exhale forward. So that could be simplified in between the easier pose by just taking the feet back and then exhale over, or intensify by bringing the feet in a little closer, sink it back, exhale over, inhale back. So whichever version you choose, 3 or 4 options there. And then lower it down when you are ready, and let us sweep the arms down behind us, allowing the arms to fall passively. Another variation of child pose. Maybe it's a gentle rock from side to side, little forehead massage. And then remembering any time you need to come down for a rest, take a child pose of your choice at any time. So now let's begin to come back up onto tabletop. And now let's take it up into a downward facing dog, tucking the toes under, lifting up the hips, sink down, aligning the arms with the back. Heels towards the ground, hips to the sky, so bend the knees to get the hips high. The heels will eventually, gradually with practice, become lower towards the ground. If your heels are way off the ground at the moment, that is perfectly natural. Activate the back and the shoulders by pushing the ground away. Nice deep breaths in and out. Maybe have a little pedal, lifting one heel up and bending the knee and alternate. Take a break in between if you want to bring it back down into a tabletop or a child pose. Remember, at any point you take a little break when you want to. You could hold with one knee bent and the straight leg, look under that armpit for a deeper stretch down the back of the leg. And then exchange. And then let's take the gaze forward and just little steps, walking it through to the front as we did to take it back earlier. Fold it here, bending the knees. Remember, we're hinging from the hips. And just fold it in. You could take a ragdoll, or you can grab onto, whether it be the calves. So bring the chest to the thighs, letting the head fall, pulling it in. Maybe you like to grab the big toes or the backs of the ankles. And we'll just stretch out the backs of the legs a little bit further here. So bending the left knee, taking the left hand towards the ground. Maybe you're not reaching the ground. Right leg straight, use a block. Or just place your hand on the thigh, the shin, turning your right shoulder back and reach to the sky. So whether you're here or here or here, feel the stretch down the back of the straight leg. Several nice deep breaths, stretching that arm up to the sky. And turn the palm, reach behind the back to the opposite thigh, pulling the top shoulder back. And then release, bend the right knee now, taking the right hand to the ground or off the shin, or if you're not reaching that far down, you may want to rest on the opposite thigh. Straightening the opposite leg, deepening that stretch down the back of the leg, looking up to the sky, conscious breath, stretching out through the fingertips, turn the palm, reach behind the back to the opposite thigh, pull the top shoulder back. And then release both hands to the ground. And then let's take the gaze forward. Just bend the knees into a chair pose. Reaching the arms up if you can. Maybe they're here. Maybe they're here. Breathing all the way. See if you can lower it down a fraction further. And then let's bring it up. Reaching to the sky. Slight back bend. Palms together into prayer. Into the heart center. And just taking a moment with some nice deep conscious breaths. After that hard work, just take a moment in some stillness. Just being fully present, noticing how you feel from when you began. Maybe you can notice the subtle energy body beginning to flow more freely. Any blocked energy that you've had is beginning to release already through your practice. The movement and the stretching. And also knowing that the moments of stillness and the pauses between the poses are really more important than the poses themselves. So whenever you need to take a break, don't feel that that's wrong. That is the most important part. Just to be resting and tuning into the breath and being fully present. And then let's take our hands down by our sides and stepping, we'll try stepping back into a warrior one. So let us first of all just lift up our right leg and then we're going to step it back, take a step back, bend in the front knee and placing the back foot at a 45-degree angle, and then we can just look down and make sure that back foot is in alignment with this hip and this foot is in alignment with this hip. So both hips are wanting to be square to the front of your mat, opposed to on an angle like that. And we don't want feet on the same track because that's more difficult to balance. So separate tracks, not too far back, depending on the flexibility of your foot. Hips square, bending into that front knee, knee directly above the ankle, and then raising the arms up into warrior one. Several breaths. Pressing into the back outside of the back foot. Pelvis tucked. Hips are square and bending into that front knee. And then let's bring the palms into prayer. Focus on a spot in front. Take a nice deep breath in. And lift up under the ball of the back foot and gently step the feet together. You could have the feet hip width apart or together, it's up to you. So once again, just taking a moment of stillness in between the poses. With the breath. And then arms down by our sides. And bending the left knee, lifting onto the toes. And as we bring that leg back, bend into the front knee and stepping back, placing the position in that back foot, look down, check that that foot's in alignment with this hip and this foot is in alignment with this hip. And just make sure the hip width apart, just wiggle them out if you feel they're a little bit too close together, bending into that front knee, pushing into the back side of the outside of the back foot. Hips are square to the front. The front knee is just directly above the ankle. Pelvis tucked slightly. Inhale up to the sky. And several breaths. It's feeling nice and strong in that warrior one pose. And then bring the palms together. Don't worry if you feel a bit wobbly and you go off balance. Inhale, focus on a spot. And exhale, just shifting the weight forward and stepping the feet together. Just nice and gently and slowly. Deep breath in. And out. Now this time, let us bring the arms down by our sides. Let's bring the right knee into our chest. And see if you can hold the shin. If not, maybe you can just hold underneath the thigh. See if you can find some balance here. If you can, maybe pull the knee in a little further. Or maybe if you were just holding the knee here with the toes touching the ground. And then no rushing into anything. If you feel you're wobbly, just compose yourself. Deepen the breath, focus on a spot. And whatever step or stage you are at is perfect. And then let's lower it down and we're going to take it into tree pose now. So with tree pose, I'll turn to face you. We want the knee wide wherever we are. So the toes to the ground and the sole of the foot on either the ankle. You could hold it here for several breaths. Then maybe try on the calf. Nice slow deep breaths. And then if you want to take it higher, you could place the foot on the inside of your thigh. Some people could just lift it up and put it there without taking hold. I need to grab my ankle to position it there. And the knee wide wherever you have the foot placed. Don't worry if you feel wibbly wobbly. And then either hold the palms here in prayer or lift them up to the sky. And maybe stretch the arms out like the branches of a tree, spreading the fingers wide. Nice deep breaths, well done. And then pray the palms back to the heart center. And when you are ready, release the foot down from wherever you were holding it. Well done. And then maybe give that leg a little shake out. Be quite intense. And then once again, just finding our posture, tuning into the breath, being fully present. Now a moment of stillness. And then bending the opposite knee. Maybe you need to keep the toes to the ground. Lift it to this degree here. Maybe grab underneath your thigh or round the shin and lift it up and hug it in. So to whatever position is right for you. Remember, nice deep conscious breaths. Focus on that spot. Well done. Be pulling in a little closer if you have hold of the shin. Or maybe if your toes are on the ground, just try and lift them off the ground a little. Bend the knee a little higher. And then release when you are ready. And as before, turning the sole onto the ankle, toes touching, toes on the ground, knee out wide, palms in prayer, or position the sole on the calf, tucking the pelvis over, maintaining a nice tall posture, conscious breaths. Or if you can, try avoiding the knee. They say to avoid pressure on the knee. I don't know if that really does do any harm, but if you can, lift up and place the foot on the inside of the thigh. But wherever you are, trying to keep the knee wide, focusing on that spot. Deep breaths, maybe lifting the palms to the sky. Hold it here or stretch the arms out like branches of a tree. Engage the core, so it gives you extra strength. Well done. Remember, at any time, take a break and start again. Or start, maybe take a ragdoll, or if you want to, you could come down into a child pose to rest it out. And then release it down and shake it out. Well done. And next, if we could try stepping back into a lunge. So maybe it's taking the feet just a little apart and lifting up the foot, bending slightly into that front knee and stepping it back. Check down, you could look down, check that your foot's on the same, in alignment with your hip. This knee is directly above the ankle. You could wiggle back the foot if you wanted to take the lunge a little deeper and lift it up. Maybe you want to just try warrior one once again. Stretching out, bend into the back knee if you want to. Several breaths. Well done. Nice and deep. Either look to the sky or you may want to focus on a spot on the ground if you feel you need help with your balance. And then let's bring the palms together to the heart. Shift the weight of the body forward, bend into that front knee, and maybe just gently step this foot back in. Nice deep breath in and deep breath out. With another moment of stillness. Just notice how you feel. Tuning into the breath, just being fully present. Not thinking about the past or the future, just being fully here and now. And then let's arms down by our sides, nice and tall in mountain pose. And lifting the left knee up from the ground and just bring it back as we bend into our front knee, stepping it back, maybe look back just to check that it's in alignment with the hip. Wiggle that foot back a little if you wanted to. Knee directly above the ankle. Behind's okay, but preferably not over the knee, not over the ankle, sorry. So make sure your feet are nicely on two separate tracks, hips are square to the front, and inhale up to the sky. Deep breaths. Again, you could bend into the back knee if you wanted to. Or have the legs straight. Pressing the feet into the ground. And then bring the palms together into prayer. Leaning the weight of the body forward into the front, weight into the front foot. And then step, 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 or one big step together at the front. Checking out the posture, always nice and tall. And then I think we'll leave that one there for today. So taking the arms down by our sides, with a nice deep breath in, palms together, bring it down and fold it to the ground. I want to bring it down to the ground to finish off. Ragdoll to begin with. Plant the palms, or if you needed help with a piece of furniture, to bring yourself down onto the ground. Taking the feet a little steps back to tabletop. And let us find ourselves round onto our bum. So if it's possible for you, just take the knees a little wide of your hips, cross the ankles and bring the bum through. So we're sat onto our bums. Otherwise, you could just move the knees out of the way onto your bum and bring it around. Straighten out the legs. So give them a little wiggle. And then soften the knees, bend them as much as you need to, because as we did before with the ragdoll in the chair pose, we want to bring the chest towards the thighs. So just bringing our chest towards the thighs. Nice deep breath, maybe relax the head down. Just feel that stretch up the back of the spine. And then just take the gaze forward. Maybe slide your heels forward a little. If your chest was touching the thighs nicely, you could pull it in a little closer. But just to whatever degree suits you, we're aiming for to keep the chest as close to the thighs as possible. And then eventually, when we feel the stretch, we'll get the stretch down the backs of the legs, we can pull it in closer with straighter legs. But as I say, all steps and stages. And then from here, let us roll down one vertebra at a time onto our back. And let's curl into a ball, bending the knees, grabbing onto the shins if you can, and just take a little rock and roll from side to side. Nice little back massage. Either tuck the head into the knees or allow the head to fall. And then let's straighten out the legs. Let the feet flop out. Arms stand by our sides. Palms facing up over. Lift up the chest to tuck the shoulder blades flat. And taking a nice deep breath in, filling up the lungs. Hold it for a second or two. And a big sigh out. Release, relax, and surrender. Just let go of the physical body. Just feel the weight of the head, the shoulders, the backs of the arms all melt away into the earth below. Feeling the back, the bum cheeks, the weight of the backs of the legs, the calves, the weight of the heels. As we exhale, just let the physical body melt into the earth. Relax the forehead. As I look into the center of the forehead, into the third eye chakra. Relax the forehead, the cheeks, part the teeth, relaxing the jaw. And as we inhale, just feeling that relaxation wash down as we exhale over the neck, the front of the body, down the arms, the torso, into the palms of the hands. Notice if you feel any energy or tingling in the palms of the fingers. Just like a wave, like that relaxation wash further down over the thighs, the knees and the shins, through the fronts of the feet, to the tips of the toes, and to the soles of the feet. As we inhale and exhale. And then let's look into the center of the forehead once again, just deeply into that emptiness. And now, as we've let the heaviness of the physical body go, feel the lightness of the subtle energy body flowing freely. And enter that emptiness, that stillness and peace and calm. As we inhale and exhale through the nose, just noticing the rise and fall of the chest. If any thoughts come into your mind, just acknowledge them and let them go. Just be the observer, witness them as they come along, and just allow them to disperse and disappear on the exhale, letting them go. And Shavasana is the most important part of the practice, so please feel free to continue as long as you want to. But if you're preparing to leave, you could begin to circle the feet and the hands as we did in the beginning, one way and then the other. Nice deep conscious breaths. And then let's place the hands over our heart center. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Just taking a moment of gratitude, giving yourself a little thank you for the time that you've taken for yourself in your practice, thanking your body for what it's achieved, and remembering that yoga is a journey of self-realization with self-acceptance. So wherever we are at is perfect. And then when you are ready to leave, gently open your eyes and namaste everyone. Thank you for joining me.